Chief of War is looking like it may be one of the best historical TV shows of 2025. But the week-long wait between each episode means that there is a lot of time to fill between the release of a new episode every Friday. So in this video, I will give you my recommendations of 10 excellent historical TV shows which are all similar or reminiscent of Chief of War in one way or another. And these are all amazing historical TV shows that will make the week-long wait between each episode of Chief of War easier to bear. But before we begin, don't forget, if you love anything to do with historical movies and historical TV shows, then subscribe to my channel History Spark. At number 10, it is Frontier, a gritty and bleak historical drama set in late 18th century North America, focusing on the Hudson's Bay Company and its ruthless attempts to monopolize the fur trade in different parts of Canada and America. This series follows Declan Harp, a half-Irish, half-Cree outlaw portrayed by Jason Momoa, and his character wages a brutal war against the company through raids, alliances, and calculated vengeance. Frontier is violent, dark, and does a great job of displaying just how much damage to Native American culture and society the fur trade actually had. The acting by Jason Momoa in particular is brilliant, and the set pieces and cinematography is great as well. However, the plot can sprawl and lose focus at times, with the story being a bit too slow paced as well. However, if you want an intriguing historical show filled with political manipulation, frontier brutality, and a charismatic anti-hero, then Frontier is the perfect recommendation for you. At number 9, it is Taboo, a historical drama set in 19th century London with the primary focus around the East India Company and its influence and power within the British economy and the criminal underworld. This miniseries follows the exploits of an eccentric and powerful businessman named James Delaney, who goes to war with the East India Company and forces them to capitulate to his demands or face ruin. Taboo is a very dark and gritty historical TV show, and although the plot can be a bit boring and slow at times, and the action sequences are few and far between, but you will still be glued to your screen by the magnetic and perfect portrayal of James Delaney by Tom Hardy, who single-handedly takes this show from something that should be mediocre to a masterpiece. So if you're looking for a unique, slower-paced, and perfectly acted historical TV show, then Taboo is my recommendation for you. At number 8, it is Barkskins, a historical series set in 17th century New France, with the primary focus on the brutal collision between French settlers, indigenous nations, and the ruthless colonial ambitions of land barons and the Catholic Church. Barkskins is a very engaging historical show overall, but the plot can be difficult to follow at times because of the plethora of side characters that are constantly being introduced and removed within the show, making it hard to keep track of the plot at certain points. But overall, it is still an engaging show which will pull you in with its grim atmosphere, authentic period details, and the constant underlying tension that arises from knowing that something violent or dangerous is always just around the corner for the characters. So if you're looking for an engaging, gritty, and immersive historical TV series that favors brutal realism over glossy heroics, then Barkskins is my recommendation for you. At number 7, it is Aryapar, a historically inspired thriller set deep within a remote tribal world in India, with the primary focus being on the deadly clash between corporate greed and the fight for indigenous survival. This series follows the story of Sarge, a skilled tribal archer and hunter who is driven onto the path of vengeance as he wages a one-man war against ruthless businessmen and corrupt officials who see his homeland as nothing more than a gold mine to be exploited for trade and profit. Aryapar is a fascinating but simple show, and the plot at times can be overly melodramatic and unoriginal, but the strong acting, cinematography, and engaging overall storyline will keep you glued to your seats. So if you're looking for a show which displays all the devastation and destruction greed and capitalism can cause on indigenous lives, then Aryapar is the show for you. At number 6, it is Marco Polo, a Netflix original series focusing on the exploits of Marco Polo during his time at the court of Kublai Khan, and the various political intrigues and military coups and internal court politics he has to contend with during his time there. This show is perhaps one of the most expensive historical TV shows ever created, and this high budget is evident in the production quality of the series, with set pieces, costume design, and battle scenes all being some of the best I've ever seen in any TV show ever. What is not of the highest quality though is the pacing of the plot, which stumbles at many points, especially in the first season. But midway through the first season, Marco Polo finds its footing and it transforms into a thrilling historical adventure. The cast here is also amazing, especially Benedict Wong as Kublai Khan, and the character development of Marco Polo is also great to witness. So if you're looking for a show that will introduce you to the Mongol Empire and all its glory and give you an overdose of some amazing martial arts and battles at the same time, then Marco Polo is the perfect recommendation for you. At number 5, it is The English, a TV miniseries that takes place in 19th century America, and it follows the plot of two primary characters, Cornelia Locke, who has arrived to America from England to hunt down the man she holds accountable for her son's death, and Eli Whip, a Polynesian native who is trying to get land that he rightfully owns returned to him from the whites. This is a fascinating story of two completely different individuals working together to help each other in the cruel West, and as the series progresses, the show takes many unexpected twists and turns. This miniseries stars Emily Blunt and Chaske Spencer, and they both share amazing chemistry on the screen, and they really do a splendid job of bringing their characters to life. The English is a bit of a slow burn and more story focused than action heavy, but that is definitely no bad thing, and there is an excellent historical TV show here for everyone with an Amazon Prime subscription. At number 4, we have Rise of Empires Ottoman, a TV series which shows in great detail the siege and fall of Constantinople by Mehmed the Conqueror, and this show will be of particular interest to historical military TV show fans, as this entire series is about the military tactics and strategy needed to successfully maintain a siege against a well-fortified city. Emperor Mehmed deals with a number of obstacles and struggles to get past the impregnable defenses of Constantinople, while also simultaneously having to contend with betrayals, disease, and a restricted amount of time to finish the siege. If you enjoy the more military and warlike elements of historical TV shows, then Rise of Empires Ottoman is a great recommendation for you, as this series has a magnificent cast, amazing use of commentary by historians, which I'm usually not a fan of, and a surprisingly accurate level of realism regarding siege tactics and stratagems. So if you're looking for a show that is brutal, entertaining, and will keep you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end, then Rise of Empires is my recommendation for you. At number 3, it is American Primeval, a Netflix original miniseries which depicts the 1857 Utah War and the violent clashes that would occur amongst Native Americans, American pioneers and settlers, and the Mormons of the region. And the series does a great job of depicting these events, but I do have to warn you, this show is very brutal and very over-the-top violent, and you will really wonder just how anyone could survive in such harsh and gruesome conditions. American Primeval is a very well acted, produced TV show, and it has a very fascinating plot, and I would say the first episode of American Primeval is one of the best pilot episodes I have ever seen. However, if you're looking for a show which focuses on authenticity and realism, then you might want to give American Primeval a miss, as this series is a thrilling action adventure first and a historical drama second. So if you don't mind blood and gore and want to watch a really unique show about a very little talked about part of American history, then American Primeval on Netflix is my recommendation for you. The second spot on this list goes to The Last Kingdom, a TV show based on the best-selling The Saxon Stories novels by Bernard Cornwell. The Last Kingdom follows a central character named Uhtred, a born Saxon but raised Dane, making him a useful tool to be used by leaders and kings for both cultures, for their own political and personal ambitions. Just like Chief of War, this series does a great job of portraying the impact of religious and cultural tensions between pagan Vikings and Christians in England, leading to many battles and complications. The Last Kingdom has amazing secondary and primary characters, a fantastic plot with minimal filler, and a tight-knit story and amazing battle scenes as well. While some of the latter seasons of The Last Kingdom aren't as great as the initial 3, it is definitely a series which is superior to many other historical TV shows in pretty much every aspect. So if you're looking to revisit Viking culture and their assimilation into Christian England, then The Last Kingdom is my recommendation for you. And the top spot on this list goes to Shogun, a historical show which got released last year, and this TV series is based on James Clavell's book, also called Shogun, and it follows the adventure of 3 primary characters in feudal Japan. a white English sailor named John Blackthorne who ends up shipwrecked in Japan, Lord Toranaga, a powerful daimyo, and Lady Mariko, a multi-talented woman with a troubled past. The primary cast for this show, which stars Cosmo Jarvis, Hiroyuki Sanada, and Anna Sui, are by far one of the best ensemble casts I've ever seen for any historical show ever. And I can say all episodes of Shogun are just truly brilliant, and if you haven't seen Shogun yet, you're truly missing out on a masterpiece of a historical show. The acting, set pieces, and characters here are all absolutely amazing, and the show prioritizes authenticity and accurately depicting medieval Japan above all else. And this results in Shogun being one of the best historical shows ever created. Some people were disappointed with how Shogun ended, but I think it followed its source material perfectly, and I can happily recommend Shogun to any viewer of this channel and anyone that has even a slight interest in Chief of War. So let me know in the comments down below if you agree with my recommendations of 10 excellent historical shows similar or reminiscent to Chief of War, and if there are any other great historical shows that I may have missed out on. And as always, if you want to stay up to date with everything to do with historical movies and historical TV shows, then subscribe to my channel, History Spark, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.